Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. And I don't know why I done that weird awkward wave and I know it's ruined the entire video and the vibes are already off. But sit down, take a seat, look at your phone, do what you're doing, troops, as we're here to discuss not a game reaction or recap, it's a winter camp, winter break, summer camp, whatever you want to call this breaky period of time is what we're actually here to discuss, because we are now not only halfway through January but the winter break is almost over. We have a game upon the horizon. Domestic football is returning in just a couple days time, and you know what that means. How's the new squad? How's the new players? I'll crack the jokes. But also how we are actually looking, and that leads us into a more footballing conversation, I'd say, than just reacting on a friendly game. A friendly game that is obviously a bit meaningless and pointless, and there's none to really break down too much for the game of football. So we're not going to do a regular game recap where we break down from the first minute to the last. We're going to discuss the goals, maybe talk about a couple moments in the game, a couple players, but that's really it, as I'm here to recap the winter break actually ending and how we're looking going in to the start of the season. Because do you feel ready, troops? Do you feel excited about the product we've seen, as we've seen 2 games in the last 7 days? Are you excited? Because I'll be honest, I'm no. Now listen, I'm not going to sit here and go absolutely crazy and moan and panty wet and everything like that regarding a couple friendly games, especially this one and the one we had last week. I'm not going to sit and do that. I'm not going to hit the panic button. I'm not going to do that. But I need to tell you how I'm actually feeling, because again, domestic football is knocking on the door. We're just a couple ways off from Dumbarton, from going to Easter Road, to going against St Mirren up in Paisley. They are tricky away games, especially the latter two, and do I feel like the squad has been improved and we have injected what we needed to inject from what was missing in the first half of the season? No, really am I seeing a togetherness, a cohesion, a much better play style, players zipping it about and performing at a high level. No, it's the same sort of feeling that I've been getting year upon year, and hopefully the longer you watch today's video, the longer you give me an opportunity, you understand why. Because I'll tell you where I'm sitting, right, after watching 2 games, and I say 2 games quite begrudgingly because I feel like the first game is a behind the doors friendly. You know what I mean? That's the type of game that gets tweeted out and you never even realise we played. Rangers played Wolves in a entertaining behind the doors friendly that and it finished 5 each or something. You go, oh, I never even knew we played. Did we got any goals? None. That's the type of game it was, but with the modern age, it's starting to show it a little bit, get a wee bit of people on Rangers TV. Here's an ad right here. Let's watch that. It's the way businesses are actually going. So we got a little peek behind the curtain, and what we saw was worrying, as it was absolutely a shambolic game of football that this guy never even sat and spoke about. But again, it was always going to be because of the nature and because of that embarrassing surface. A surface, by the way, that has came back to bite us in the you-know-what, because a park that I wouldn't even let a dog go out there and drop its bowels in. We played a game of football. We trained in that facility. We trained on that park, and not only did we receive a poor game of football, if you want to call it, last week, but we have lost Kieran Dowell for at least a month because he stood on a bad bit of the park. I can't do this. Like, I know I'm a cringy YouTuber, right? And I know what I'm talking about. But see, when you've got injury prone players, maybe didn't play them and put them in surfaces and positions to play on that type of madness, because you're just asking for trouble. We've got no luck. You roll the dice every time the one number you didn't want, we'll get it every single time. And we seem to beat ourselves constantly, because up at that point, we had played 1 game before coming into this one. We had 2 new injuries. 1 game, 2 new injuries. If you ever wanted the Rangers calculator, there it is, right there. But we come into this game having lost Kieran Dell for at least a month, but you know how these goes. And Big Dijon Sterling, I should say, missing it as he picked up a slight knock or tweak or whatever. Clement says nothing too serious, nothing to worry about, but he missed this game, so it must be a little bit a son. So we come into this game expect to see a little bit more again. Midweek, during January, before everybody's been paid, with the weather being, because the snow's battering we're here. I don't know where yous are, but the snow's absolutely mad here. It's minus everywhere. Again, people's not being paid. A lot of money goes out at Christmas. It did seem a bit meaningless and a bit pointless, and I feel so bad that Brian Laudrup got that type response, and that's none to anybody that was at the game, by the way. It was just such a little attendance there because, again, so many scenarios and so many situations that each family actually have. You know what I mean? It's an expensive time, Christmas, and before anybody gets paid, you're asking for more money at that price for a game. Chuck the price down, man. Reward the fans if you want people in there for a friendly game. But that's a question for another day. Business is business, but sometimes I think they forget that Rangers fans give a lot to their club and maybe sometimes deserve not to be treated like cattle. But it was probably a perfect example and a summary of how this game was actually going to go. The type of game that it was reflected in the attendance because everyone had the same sort of feeling in their stomach. Troops, what is the point of this? And a lot of the football was actually like that as well. Despite a couple performances, I thought the likes of Rabbi Matondo was positive for it. You could say he's like a new signing. I better stop joking about that because I'm sure there'll be a couple on the Rangers board saying, wait, do we actually need to sign a right winger? And there was a couple other people. I thought Silva showed what he's about, puts himself about, works really hard. But again, you're not going to learn too much for a game of football like that. What I really got when that final whistle went was the thing that I'm going to talk about right now in today's video is, where are we as a football club? And more importantly, do we have enough? Because I'll be honest, when that whistle went, there was a couple thoughts in my mind. The winter camp is over. Domestic football, again, is knocking on the door. We're almost back to playing. And have we strengthened the squad? Have we done enough so far? Again, we might make some great moves next week. We might do this and that completely nullifies this video. But all I can reflect on is where we are right now. The winter break is ending and we've no done anything because I feel like we still need an out-and-out goal scorer. No an out-and-out attacker, no an out-and-out number 9. I'm talking about an out-and-out goal scorer that's going to take that circular object and shove it, preferably with his foot, if possible, beyond the goalkeeper that's usually like this or like this. That's what we need. I also feel like we need an out-and-out right winger, and that's no disrespect to young Ross McCausland, but maybe an experienced lad who's had a wee bit of chalk on his bits, that's done a couple things, got goals, got assists to his game, just to help strengthen that position of the park. Because Rabi's back, which is great. You've got Seema away for the month, and Silva can cover base spots, and you've got Scott Wright being there, but no disrespect, we need better in there, you know what I mean? We need goals, we need assists, and do we have it? I thought the young Brighton loanee, it is a little bit of a position for me I feel like we badly needs is an injection of genuine quality and a genuine out-and-out right winger. I mean, again, you see it all the time. The last genuine right winger we had was Daniel Candeias. How many years ago was that? It's baffling, but it's not just striker, it's not just right winger. I feel like we also need a centre back as well, and that's no a dig at anybody either. I like Big Balogun, but he's 35 turning 36 with a contract that's expiring in 6 months. We have John Souttar, who for many years ago I sat in the SPFL show with me, Div, Ryan 118 and young Aaron and Gogsy and everything like that. All guys that does what I do but just for all our teams, and I says I like him when he can stay fit, and I do like him if he could stay fit. In 5, 6, maybe even 7 years on now for when I used to do that. I'm sitting saying the exact same thing. I like him when he can stay fit. I like him if he can stay fit. We're still in the same position and we can't trust Big John Souttar, and that's nothing against him personal wise, it's just his body. And then we have the missing man, you know what I mean? I'm about to put a bolo out for Ben Davies, because where is the guy we spent £3.5 million on? I'm about one more day away from making a phone call and putting Ben Davies' face on milk cartons, troops, because where is he? I'm not hearing anything, I'm not hearing injury updates, I'm not hearing none. That's a guy we invested so much in, and he doesn't make the 11s, he doesn't make the 18s anymore. The centre-back position badly needs solidified, and I thought that would have been one we'd have underlined and really went for, to give Big Clement what he deserves. A robust centre-half that's commanding in the air. We're badly needing it. Not even just for this game with the silly goals we threw away again for set pieces, but that for me is what we need in terms of the personnel, and that's where I feel like we need, right? So goal scorer, right winger, centre back. And what also I learned for this winter break is the fact that we can't, and I mean can't, do attacking set pieces. We are absolutely dreadful at crossing the ball in to the mixer. You think a team that does 758 crosses a game would realise and be better at it, but we waste every single corner we have with the silly outswinging expected goals stats on a laptop nonsense, whilst troops being equally as bad at defending the set pieces. You know what I mean? They wonder we can't get any better because the defence is having to defend versus us attacking, and us attacking us to play against that defending. We're just chasing our own tail and going round and round and round. As today, just today, troops, we conceded 2 in-swinging corners. That's a week on for conceding 1 in our previous game. That's 3 in-swinging corners we've conceded in the space of a week going into last season, or 2023, I should say. We conceded double-digit in-swinging corners, and it almost seems beyond negligence now that we see that. We concede that while staying our output, yet still, because we refuse to do in-swinging corners. And I know people are saying this is becoming a bit of a meme, me crying and moaning about corners, but I just didn't get it. How many in-swinging corners do we need to concede before we start doing them? We're dreadful at attacking them, so there's no counter-argument to it. Can we just try? Do you know what I mean? Let's swallow our pride, hold our hands up and say, right, we were wrong on this one. And it's not just a Clement problem, it was a Beale problem, it was a Gio problem, and beginning towards his last reign as manager for this football club, was also a Gerrard problem, because people forget this change was made under Gerrard after we had won the league. Whoever came into the building, and I want to find out who it was, by the way. I would like to know your name so I could cry about it and think about you every night in my entire life, because somebody came into the club after a season we won the league, scoring so many goals, had been so good defensively, putting men on the post, hitting in, swinging corners, etc, etc, to like this. It all flipped. Name your men on the post. That was gone. Expected goal says you've got a better chance of defending it if you've got another year in the box rather than the post. And then the in-swingers stopped. That's what I've learned. Do you know what I mean? We're bad at attacking corners. We're bad at defending corners. We need an out-and-out commanding centre-half. We need a goal scorer. And we need a right winger. You know, the 5 things we've needed for the last 4 years. Well, it's 2024. And we still need it. And I would truly love to know your thoughts and opinions down there in the comment section below. How do you feel about the team? Again, we're not going to dive too much into the 2 friendly performances, but it's now the end. We're now looking forward. Is there improvements here? You've seen enough. I really like Big Dessers' goal today. It showed great composure, but then the Dessers experience after a phenomenal goal, he then brings you down that's got snow in it. I'm sitting staring, Joe Aribo, is that you? In more ways than one, by the way. I don't know if you've seen that photo, but by God, Joe Aribo, well done you, son. But anyway, he brings a ball down on the tase, runs through. I'm saying Dessers is turning into R9. He's already dinked the keeper. He's going to do it again. And then he hits it a mile wide, and then 34 seconds later we concede an in-swinging corner. And then I was brought back down to earth and what it's like being a Rangers fan. I thought Cantwell again needs to drastically improve his output going forward wise. I thought Raskin looked very rough today, but it's all friendly appearances. He's bringing himself back from a long-term injury as well. It's going to take a wee bit of time, and it was great to see the likes of Ryan Jack and Tom Lawrence back in our Rangers shirt. It really is. They definitely had quality. Jacko came on, got an assist, wore the captain's armband. Great to see, being a boyhood Rangers fan. And Lawrence has obviously got a lot of skill. Can he take a free kick? But he's got a lot of skill, and that's how I feel about the game. That's how I feel about it. I feel like we still need the exact same things. Before this window opened 15, 16 days ago, we need the exact same stuff. And again, tactically, I still feel like we're being naive, and I don't know if it's arrogance or ego, but whoever's making the decisions on the set pieces needs to just hold their hands up and say, right, let's try something different, because it's pathetic that way and it's pathetic that way. And how long, genuinely, how long is it going to hurt us? It's been 4 years now. Does it need to be 5? And that's truthfully all that's in the grey noggin. What about you? I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions of where you think the club is and what we need to improve. Look, there's still plenty of days left in the transfer window, and I am 100% confident there will be new additions to this team, and they'll probably rectify a lot of the issues, the positions we've talked about in today's video, and I will be delighted. But what I'm not delighted about is we're 16 days in. Domestic football is almost back, and whenever we do go ahead and sign somebody new, we'll need to wait for them to bed in and get a bit of time when that time's passed in the last 16 days. But again, I didn't want to be like Veruca Salt here and start losing my actual mind. I will be patient a little bit, but again, underlining the key problems of where we are and what we need to improve. We've just spoken about it. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions. And until our next video, which will be the Cup game versus Dumbarton, I've been CJ992. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and bye-bye.